Why has the ringgit jumped so much, and can it last? The answer depends on what kind of time frame we are looking at, short, medium or long term. Because what moves a currency today isn't necessarily what keeps it strong next year. Now, over the past 12 months, the ringgit has surged against almost every major currency. 3.1% against the Singapore dollar and 7% against the Japanese yen. It wasn't due to trade, because even in the quarters where Malaysia's current account surplus is strongest, they actually fell year on year. Meanwhile, exporters continued to hold more earnings in foreign currency instead of converting it to the ringgit. So in the short term, what pushed the ringgit up? Expectations and capital flows. Short-term currency movements are heavily influenced by investor expectations. Take the euro for example. Growth and prospects are weak, and the ECB cut rates more aggressively than the US Federal Reserve, a move that would typically weaken a currency. But the euro strengthened. This is because markets had already priced in those ECB cuts. Currencies move based on what investors expect next, and that is that the Fed will cut rates. Hence, the US dollar weakened against the euro. That same dynamic hit Malaysia. As the Fed began cutting rates, investors shifted money out of the US dollar and into currencies like the ringgit. A global risk-on mood amplified these inflows, as underscored by the surge in Malaysian bond market liquidity. A more anecdotal reason for the recent strength is that banks are making it more difficult for Malaysians and local companies to remit transfers overseas, which may be adding short-term support to the ringgit. Currencies move on what investors think will happen in the short term, not so much on the fundamentals. But the long term is a very different story. Long-term currency performance depends heavily on deeper structural factors. A nation's competitiveness, productivity, and fiscal discipline matter far more in the long term. In our next video, we plan to dive deeper into the ringgit's long-term performance and what has driven its highs and lows. For more on the ringgit's rally, read Tong's portfolio, only in The Edge.